Welcome to ignani.com. Microsoft Excel 2010. Chapter 1. Getting started with Excel 2010. Part I. Ribbon commands. Types of commands on the ribbon. As I mentioned earlier in this tutorial, everything you will ever want to do can be achieved by giving commands. These commands are all organized on the ribbon. Each tab on the ribbon contains a collection of commands that are logically grouped based on the tab features. As you can see, all the icons or buttons that you see within the red box are the commands that I have been referring to. When you hover the mouse pointer over a ribbon command, you'll see a pop-up box that contains the command's name, as well as a brief description. Notice the ribbon command area. There are a variety of command button types. Some are just clickable, a few are simple drop-down buttons, while some are a bit more complex types, containing another level within them. All these buttons can be categorized into different groups based on the way they act. Let me introduce them to you. Simple buttons. A simple button is just a clickable button. Click the button, and it does its task. The increase font size and decrease font size buttons in the font group of the Home tab are a very good example of the simple buttons. Notice how, just by clicking the buttons, they perform the task immediately. The increase font size button increases the font size, while the decrease font size button does the opposite. Some buttons perform the task immediately, while others display a dialog box so that you can enter additional information required to complete the task. Notice the Cut button. It's again a simple button, but with one difference. It accompanies a descriptive label. Simple button controls may or may not be accompanied by a descriptive label. While the Increase font size button does not contain any descriptive label, the Cut button has a descriptive label next to it. Toggle buttons. Toggle buttons are similar to regular buttons in appearance, but are used to depict and set a state rather than just to initiate an action. A toggle button has two states, set and unset, which are shown by its change in appearance from plain background to a colored background. Bold button in the font group of the Home tab is an example of a toggle button. If the active cell isn't bold, the bold button displays in its normal color. If the active cell is already bold, the bold button displays a different background color. Clicking the button will toggle the bold state for the active cell or range of cells. Simple drop-downs. The simple drop-down buttons are similar to regular buttons in appearance, but comes with a small arrow pointing downwards. When clicked, it displays a drop-down list of mutually exclusive items or additional commands below it. Conditional formatting command in the Styles group of the Home tab is a typical example of a simple drop-down button. As you can see, when you click this control, you see several options related to conditional formatting, either as a list of simple buttons, or as a subgroup of simple drop-downs. Split buttons. A split button control combines a toggle button with a simple drop-down. When you click the button part, the command is executed, and when you click the drop-down part, which is the down arrow next to the button, it displays a drop-down list of additional commands below it. An example of a split button is the Merge and Center command in the Alignment group of the Home tab. As you can see, when clicked, as with the toggle button, it changes the background color to inform the state. Now if I move out of the current cell, the button state changes. Return to the cell and it shows the clicked status. If you click the down arrow part of the control, it displays a drop-down list of commands related to merging cells. Checkbox. A checkbox control is a control with a checkbox to show the state, and is similar to toggle button in action. However, instead of changing the background, it shows the checked state of the checkbox next to it, to turn something on, or off. An example is the formula bar control in the Show group of the View tab. When the formula bar checkbox is checked, the formula bar appears below the ribbon. When the control isn't checked, the formula bar disappears. Spinners. The spinner is a composite control that consists of an increment button, a decrement button, and an edit control, all of which are used to provide decimal values to the application. The scale control, in the Scale to Fit group of the Page Layout tab, is an example of the spinner control. Click the top part of the spinner to increase the value. Click the bottom part of the spinner to decrease the value. Or enter the value directly into the edit part of the control. Ribbon covers most of the things that Excel offers. I will cover the ribbon, its various tabs and the commands in it throughout this tutorial. In the next chapter, I will continue with shortcut menus, mini toolbars, and also show you how to minimize and maximize the ribbon. You can find a lot of free video tutorials, training materials, how-to videos, and much more at our site www.ignani.com. Post all your questions at our site. We will be happy to help you. We want your learning process to be as interactive as possible. Feel free to contact us.